It's terrible. It's just terrible. Everybody done forgot about these fellers. And I still know how to use them. Just because the maps are waterproof and they don't tear and a flasher is, the flasher can't help it that it gives you real-time reading right there on the spot. It's not his fault. We can't help it technology passed it by. Oh, I still love you guys, and I still think there's people out there that know how to use you. You ready to run and gun? It's time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here. Welcome back to Bassin 101, where we try to make things simple. I guess I don't mean to be so lighthearted with introductions like that, because I really do try to help teach people on this channel, whatever. These things are long gone, but I've still got them, and I still use them, because sometimes you have to sit and study things. And as far as one of these, good luck finding some of these, because this is a very important tool that most everybody, especially on the circuits today, have completely forgotten about. I thought I would do this video as my take on this huge conversation going on right now that's almost about to split a couple of bass circuits in half between the guys who like to stare at TV screens and the guys who just want to go fishing. I can't blame either one of them. If you're the kind of guy that likes to have $4,000 systems on their boats and they want to sit there and stare at a TV screen all day long and just drop shot and just watch the whole entire thing, that's you. I'm not going to tell you to stop. Where I'm coming from on this is I'm the kind of guy that just wants to go fishing. And to me personally, if you've got a 2D unit on your dash, so you can map out, graph out drop-offs, see where the fish are suspended or if they're laying on the bottom or where they're located at, then you go to this on the deck of your boat to give you real-time depth reading, and you use marker buoys to mark your positions off that 2D graph and use that flasher to keep you in position. That's pretty simple. And unfortunately, I don't know of anybody that does it anymore as far as on the tournament trail or just fun fishing. It's kind of a lost art if you think about it. But me personally, the pros that are out there on the circuit, I got one question for you. If you lost power in your boat, would you be screwed? Because remember, if you rely on that stuff, you're only as good as your electronics will let you be. You realize you basically turn it into a video game with the 360s and everything else. I can see everything going on. There's a rock over here, and 30 feet ahead there's a rock over here, this, that, and the other. And if that was to go poof, and you had to and all you can use is a trolling motor, what would you do? You might have to go fishing. Now, I'm not fussing. I'm not, I'm not trying to give like an opinion. I'm trying to make you understand what's really going on here. Technology has gotten so far ahead in fishing that people are forgetting how to fish. And these are the guys that have 50 rods laying on the deck of a boat. They've got the whole entire boat's a tackle box. Those are the kind of guys that, to me, have kind of lost the reality of it. I understand it's a business. I understand it's how they make their living and everything else. That's fine. But if you ever watch their channels, they really don't teach you anything. A lot of it's entertainment. A lot of it is just showboating. You know, Randy Blaukat made a great, I've loved Randy ever since he first started back in 84, 85. Kind of a flashy guy back in those days. But he made a really good point a few days ago on a video he made of shows that teach and shows that entertain. And basically he was telling you which ones to avoid. You know, if you want to be entertained, then you got channels to get entertained. I like putting a little bit of fun in this just because I'm just a goofy kind of guy. And I like having stuff that kind of makes you want to chuckle a little bit. But I can get serious about things too. And I agree with what Randy says. If you want to learn, you want channels that's going to teach you. You know, I've got opinions on things I like to do or whatever, and everybody else has got opinions on what they like to do. But I would prefer to teach people of what I've learned and what I've learned from other guys. Because the best way to learn how to fish is not buy thousands of dollars of equipment, not spend more money for your boat than you do your house. None of that stuff. If you know people who can catch fish, go fishing with them. Pick their brains. Watch what they do. Watch how they work a certain lure. That's how you learn. That's how I learned. I mean, fishing in clubs and everything else back in the day and fishing tournaments and, fishing with people who didn't even know. You just met that first time and you go fishing with them or whatever. You pick up stuff and you learn. And you also pick up stuff and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I remember one guy years ago, I was fishing with him in a club tournament, and it was a team thing, so both of you counted. And he was throwing a Carolina rig on an ugly stick. And do you know he missed every fish that hit? And he lost one halfway back to the boat. But if you're going to throw a Carolina rig with a buggy whip, you get what you pay for. Now, I'm not putting down ugly sticks, but I'm just saying that's not the rod for that technique. And I couldn't get him to understand that. So we pretty much bottomed out the tournament. I was catching all the fish, but it wasn't enough weight to do anything. So there you go. But getting back to the electronic deals. This is a very simplistic approach. This is my portable Silent 60, which these are really, really hard to find. But what I like about this is it ain't got to stay in the boat. I can take it out. It packs up into a box. I can take it right out. But this, folks, gives you real-time reading. If you come off a drop-off, it's going to tell you right there. You don't have to wait for it to pop up on a screen. Because by the time it pops up on that screen, you're already past it. So what's the use of throwing a marker buoy out there? But if you're smart and you use the 2D stuff, like what Randy was talking about the other day, if you use the 2D stuff and you adjust your speed to your idle speed, then pretty much you can find it right there on the spot. You throw out your marker buoy. Let's say you're fishing a point. You look at your map. There's a creek channel that runs along that point, and then it comes off into shallower water on the other side. Well, you know that where that indentation is on that point, you throw a marker buoy out on that side, and you throw a marker buoy out the point, the very end of that point where it drops off into the creek channel. And then you fish that whole stretch on the side of that creek on that point. And if it doesn't work, then you just go around the other side and fish the shallower side, because they might be using that and coming back to the deep water during certain times of the day. You don't know that. But with this on the front of the boat, you know if you're running up on that shallow spot quick. You also know if you're dropping off too far into the channel. Okay, let's say you're looking at your map and you're seeing how the contours go. You get this thing set on, let's say, 50 feet of water. If you start coming up and you start seeing 40, 30, back off. I mean, because you're literally right on top of that. That's what this gives you. All right. When you come around the other side of the thing, you'll start seeing it drop off into deeper water, and you realize, okay, well, I'm just far off the channel side of it. And all of a sudden, you start seeing it going, and all of a sudden, you realize you're back in that shallow water. So, me personally, I would rather have this on the deck of the boat and have the other one at the console back there. Now, you could always swing it around. So you can watch this, and you can watch what's going on in that. You can always do that. Try to keep it simple. But I would, most of the time, you look at guys like David Fritz. He, just recently I saw a picture of him on the boat, and he had a one that was dash mounted. Not dash mounted, but mounted in the deck of the boat with his other stuff, but he still had a flasher going. I saw that. And I know some other pros, especially General Nixon, who's got scads of these in his garage, and told me he wasn't even going to part with one of them. I was like, gee, thanks. But that's okay. I already had one. And these are gold. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to use them. So, when it comes to technology with fish finders, like the title says, what have we done? Because we've made it so complicated. I mean, why would you? I understand some guys that do it, so don't get me wrong here. I'm really not trying to put anybody down. I'm really not. I'm trying to make them see the reality of everything. But it just doesn't seem. It's bad enough if you have to buy a new TV set, or you have to get a new cell phone, and you got to spend time learning how to work these things, working the TV set, setting the menus up, this, that, and the other. Why would you have to go on a boat, go fish, and spend half a day learning how to play with your computer? That to me just doesn't sound like a lot of fun. I'd rather have one of the older 2D sonars, like the Eagle Zooms, like from the late 80s, early 90s, that you can dial in and figure out how to work it in about 10 minutes. And you're done. Even the new stuff, just some of the more simplified 2D sonars are not that hard to work. It doesn't take much time to figure them out. Just wanted to throw that out there, guys, give my 2 cents in on it, because a lot of guys are talking about it. And me personally, if you're the kind of guy that all he does is fish all the time, he's got time to learn that computer and everything, then by all means, you got more patience than I do. And you got more patience than a lot of other people do. But it really surprised me when I found out on the professional circuit and in sales around the country, at the iCasts, I mean, all the stuff that I've read about and I've watched about, are you aware that 3/4 of all the fishermen around the country are still staying simple with their electronics? Only the upper 25% are willing to spend the cash, the thousands and thousands of dollars to get the computers. That's staggering. What does that tell you about the majority of the fishermen? I'm talking about the consumers. I'm talking about the pros. I'm talking about, state fishermen, stuff like that. They're staying simple. Well, what I would consider simple. A very simple setup on their boats. They're not staring at a computer screen all the time. I mean, I've seen guys on fisheries tournaments that have 2 or 3 of them stacked on the front of their boat, and 3 or 4 wrapping around the dashboard or anything. How in the world do you see where you're driving? Especially for your short little dude, you gotta sit like this every time and make sure you're not going to hit something. But if that's how you do it, then do it. I see you got more patience than I do. But I just kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in. So I think you guys need to know about this, because this is starting to become, a major issue. And I for one, prefer just to keep it simple, because it caught me fish back in the day. It still catches me fish now. Well, why wouldn't it catch me fish tomorrow? You're going to have to, once you pinpoint them, you have to figure out the best technique to fish for them. And I'd rather spend my time doing that than staring at a TV screen drop shotting. That to me is just not That's like playing a video game. And I don't know. That's just not me. And you'd be surprised how many pros will say the same thing. That's just not them. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying, well, he's an old school moron and he doesn't know anything. And the one phrase that burns me up every time I hear it, if you can't afford it, get out of the way. Well, how many of you guys have said that and been skunked? Some guy in the back with a Zepco 202 outfit spin cast reel with some Shakespeare line on that sucker wears you out. How do you feel then? Don't get so cocky with the stuff. I mean, if you're one of these kind of guys that prefers to use all this kind of stuff, don't get cocky with the guy or snicker at the guy with the flasher on the front of the thing in the back, because he might know a few more things than you do. So think about that for a minute. And you guys that keep it simple, there's no sense in making fun of the guys that have all the thousands of dollars on the deck of their boat. That's their business. If that's how they want to do it, let them do it. Just like you. They don't have any reason to make fun of you, because at least, if you keep it simple, at least you're not making payments for the next 5 years like they are. So think about that. By the time they pay everything off, it's obsolete. At least when you use stuff like this, it's kind of hard for this to go obsolete, because it's just a simple system and it works. You can read up on the old stuff on triangulation and stuff like that. It works every time. Every single time. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, guys. I hope you learned something a little from this. It's a major topic. I mean, people just don't even know how to read maps anymore. I mean, you show these new guys something like this right here, and I've even got places on here circled, marked, and coded for certain drop-offs, this, that, and the other that have worked in the past or whatever. And these new kids that are coming out on these tournament trails that are cocky, one of them that burns my gullet every time I see him on there, his initials are KW. You can figure that out for yourself. He's a cocky little booger, thinking he's all that in a bag of chips. But if you said something like this to him, he says, well, what kind of file can I download to get that on my map? Huh? I've got it right here. Don't you know how to read this? Yeah. I think your bottle needs to be changed there, buddy. I'm getting a little out of whack here. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you click the bell icon. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about this. This is just my rant. This is just my opinion. You can take it or leave it. You can go off, tell everybody that I eat crayons and drink motor oil. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just putting my 2 cents in, hoping y'all can learn something, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have just got boats and are wanting to put some stuff on their boats, or even John boats. Nothing wrong with a John boat. John boats are awesome. I'm talking about simplicity. But you can rig a John boat in a simplistic fashion, or you can buy one of those big deals too. It's up to you. But I know a lot of you guys just fish on the weekends or just fish whenever you can. And you don't want to spend a ton of money on something like that. You want to keep it kind of simple so you can do more fishing than you are programming. So hopefully this helps a little bit. You can still get flashers today. They're just a different kind than this. They're more of a very smaller version. This is from the mid 80s. So I'll just drop my maps. So anyway, they still have flashers. They even have some of the screens have a flasher built into them. I don't know how good that is on real time, but I do know this one I got right here instantly tells you what's going on, and that's kind of what I like about it. Again, thanks for tuning in, guys. May the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name. Don't catch them all at one time. Save some for next time, and we'll catch you later. Fish on.